Hello and welcome to the Screen Chronicles. I'm Colby. With me, as always, is Steve.
Hi.
And today we're coming at you with episodes 5 and 6 of The Boys. We were going to do 4 episodes together, split the season in half, but we got to talk about it because these last 2 episodes are pretty fun and interesting. Some interesting things happened. So before we get into some spoiler talk, Steve, generally, what did you think of these last 2 episodes?
I thought they were good. It's definitely a little bit slower, these 2 episodes, I think, than the first 4, which is why I think they kind of were okay with releasing those first 3 to like kind of let you binge and get hooked into it. I'd say these ones, they're definitely a little slower. I don't really even remember, though, the middle of the season of the first season. I can remember like a few things that kind of happened in the middle of the season of the first season. So, I mean, the fact that there's all these crazy things that I think I'll be able to remember, for when the next season comes along, that's kind of good. But I'm still enjoying it though. I mean, I kind of just want to binge it though. I mean, like every episode.
I want to binge it. I really enjoyed these last 2 episodes, and I was looking at some of the reviews online and stuff, and some people thought it was like the worst. Like episode 5 was the worst of The Boys, and I don't know. I thought it was funny. I thought it had a lot of like really memorable parts, and same with 6. I thought 6 kind of carried on with a lot of that kind of startling humor. So I really enjoyed these 2 episodes.
And I think what the thing is, though, is the first season had the whole VOT, Compound V thing that was sort of tied into like all of the narratives. You know what I mean? It was this huge mystery about how the soups were made. And it was a big reveal that the company was this other thing, that it wasn't just recruiting soups that were out there. It was essentially making them. It was paying off parents. It was a whole other social commentary in itself. Plus, it was the overarching plot at the end as a cliffhanger, like, can we get this out there to the people before VOT becomes part of the American defense system, and also it tied in with Huey's story, his own personal story with A-Train. That A-Train was a junkie on VOT, and that was a reveal that he was taking this drug. That's what killed his girlfriend. That's what he got him into The Boys. So like that had that whole thing. And just this season, I feel like Stormfront is definitely, I guess, the Compound V for the season, but it's just not clear, I think, for everyone to know what's a hint at the end game here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. With my thing watching this season, I think Stormfront's really kind of driving this season. Same with Homelander. And so far, kind of how I see the season going is that Homelander is slowly becoming unhinged from Vought. And episode 5, I think, does a really good job showing it. We'll talk a little bit more specifics in a second. It just seems like he's just moving and realizing that like he doesn't really need Vought because of who he is. And that also makes me question Stormfront's intentions too.
Yeah.
So we will get into some of that nitty gritty talk here in a second. And I guess we can just start the spoiler talk.
Spoiler alert, everyone. We're going to talk about episodes 5 and 6, season 2 of The Boys here. So watch out.
Yeah.
So what about...
Now, don't be a pussy. Laser my fucking tits.
That was the best. That was iconic.
Oh, my God. I mean... I had seen that clip from a trailer, which, man, I wish I wouldn't have...
That's what you were talking about. You said you saw... See, I never saw it. So when I saw it for the first time, I think I texted you. You watched 5 before I did, right?
Yeah, I watched 5 before you, and you watched 6
before me. I watched 6 before you. And yeah, so I knew you'd seen 5, and when she said that, I like immediately texted you and like... Because it's like one of the most outrageous things I've ever heard in a show.
Oh my God. I knew she had a thing for him. I called it. But,
there was a hint of it in the trailer, right?
Yeah, so she did say that. When I saw it in the trailer though, I didn't know if that was like a confrontation though or something. That she was like kind of like she was standing off against him. Like trying to make a point like, look, you can't even hurt me here. Kind of thing. But I love just that it just ends with them hooking up. and it's just like
and
it's just a beat
hovering
down.
and hovering. That's like
Dream
the last shot you see.
Dream mode. Anytime that they start to have any sort of romantic thing from here on, it seems like some great rock music starts playing, or some popular like 70s to 90s pop music, rock music starts to go on.
That was an amazing end to an episode, and it's unforgettable. I don't think anyone's ever going to forget that. And I love how like their social media accounts really run with like those kind of like memeable moments, and like that's how they advertise them, like with those like really like outlandish moments, those things that are said. But let's back up to sort of the beginning of this episode and see kind of how Homelander kind of moved into this relationship with Stormfront. I think in one of the previous episodes, Stormfront was kind of hinting like that she was like she kind of hinted that she liked him, like she was on his side and stuff. And then in this one, this video kind of cracked me up a little bit. Was Homelander like went to some town and he like kills a terrorist or a bad guy, some kind of villain.
Yeah, someone has some soup. The Force, for whatever reason, like all the generic soups this season sort of have the Force.
so he like lasers him through his abdomen or something, and like it just shows him like flying, like waving, like you're welcome, flies away, and like the person taking the video on their phone like pans, and he like also shot through a civilian. He had no idea, and then obviously that became like a huge Vought company like scandal, I guess. Like,
because everyone before this thought soups were amazing.
Well, that's the perception that they're trying to like put out to the public in the show, you know, is that they're really like Superman and Wonder Woman, how we see them in the movies, you know, in the real world to them. And so that was
like the first time that
they saw like a casualty, a civilian casualty from Homelander, who's and Homelander is like the top of the top, you know, he's really the Superman of their world, and he cares. We've seen this season he really cares what people think about him, you know, and he's been like telling himself like you don't need anybody to like you, you know.
Stormfront sort of planted that in him,
and he like struggled with that.
But so now that he still cares about what people think about this point, but then everyone just starts to protest him and everything. And I love the scene where I think is it a mayor candidate? She's there in front of like this whole protest rally of people. And she's there like Homelander and speaking out against him. All of a sudden he just drops like
after being told like by everyone not to go, like, don't worry, Vought has like a statement planned, and right now the statement is no comment and they don't want you to talk to them. And Homelander was just like, nah, I'm gonna go just settle this, because in Homelander's mind, like he can talk his way out of it.
He's like, people love me. But I just love that he just drops down and they're all just like oh, right. Because can you imagine just you know, someone protesting some political leader today and they just fall out of the sky and like land there?
Hey. What were you guys saying?
Like, oh, okay.
This scene became amazing though. He like asks for her mic, and it's really crazy because he's really truly trying to like talk his way out of it, but no matter what he says, they twist it to the negative to make him sound bad. And he's getting so frustrated with this. And he annihilates the crowd with his laser eyes.
And this is where I was like, oh my God, they're doing it already? Because we had talked at the end of 4 after he kills himself. That I was like, he is going off, you know, off the chain. He's off the reservation here. And I was like, here we go. This is going to be it. He's going to start taking over the world. But nope. It's just a dream or a vision.
It was a vision. It was what he like felt like doing in his head.
Yeah.
He daydreamed doing that because there was like there was a soldier that was like flipping him off.
Oh yeah, he was like, because he has these taglines. He's always been able to get away with is, you know, I'm doing this for the American people, for our troops, our men and women. And the soldiers was like, I don't represent us.
Yeah, and then like if he would say that, they would twist into like, oh, so you don't care about every human or something like that. You know, you don't care about, protecting everyone, So it didn't matter what he said because he really was trying to do damage control and he was trying to sound good. But, that's just the thing is people can always twist whatever it is and make you sound bad, even if you're saying things you think they want to hear.
Yeah. Even if you're trying to be as diplomatic as he was trying to be, even though he wasn't genuine, he was still trying to be. And then so I was just like, oh my God, here we go. So,
I was pulling my hair out of my head like when I saw him laser like the whole crowd, and they showed like they were just fried.
Yeah.
And in like 2 seconds, like, so that's just me. That's a nod at like, where is he heading?
Yeah. He wanted to.
He wanted to.
So were you disappointed though when they were like, oh no, that didn't happen, or what was your reaction then when it was just this like a vision, I guess, of what he wanted to do?
I don't know if disappointed is the right word. I thought it would have made the show, took it to another level of interesting, but I still think it does. I still think it does because I think it's just foreshadowing where he's going to go.
Yeah,
and it might have been too abrupt to just have him have done that like all of a sudden.
What I would have liked is to have just seen, not have that vision, just him standing there and just sort of like starting to do that weird
face,
pre-tantrum face he gets.
Yeah.
Like when he just needs some you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then just fly away. Like, oh, and that's what happened. But like, since we saw like, look, I could fry everyone here, I would have liked to have just not seen that, and then
really?
Another instance where that's going on and he does do it, like for real.
Really? Okay.
That's what I would have liked to have actually happened, but it was still fun to see.
I kind of liked it. I kind of liked how they did it. It really fooled me for a second too.
Yeah, I mean, it fools you. It fools you though.
It's like, because you could still kind of believe it.
Yeah. Yeah, you feel like he's going to that point. So
yeah.
But he just leaves though. Another crazy thing, we have to mention here is Kimiko is also doing her own side business right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we just see like these, like, I think they're Russians. They're shooting some pool and stuff. And then all of a sudden Kimiko comes in and a guy comes up to her and he starts being a jerk. So I'm like, all right, like, you're clearly going to die.
But how are you going to die?
How are you going to die? And I thought, because we've seen she's just incredibly vicious and strong in the first season, like a wild animal.
Yeah.
And she like knocks him down. I think she's going to like break his neck.
Yeah.
Because she starts like grabbing the side of his head. Nope. She's peeling his face off with his ear.
Didn't you tell me, like, I took a video of this and sent it to you on Snapchat, and you told me, no, I didn't want to see this. Like, I stopped watching when it happened.
I covered my eyes when it happened. As soon as, like, I saw her grabbing his ear, and I was like, that's a weird place to, like, to anchor on to break someone's neck.
Right, but it's not so weird if you're ripping their face off. That's probably the best place to grab. So now it makes more sense.
That's like why would you kill someone that way?
Dude.
It's just, that's not an efficient way to, like, did he even die? You know what I mean?
True.
Oh my God. And then she just kills everyone. My God. But
I think they find like a butt of the gun stuck in some guy's head or something.
Yeah.
They come in and whew.
She is a vicious killer, man.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So then Frenchie kind of goes down this thing. He's trying to like follow her.
To me, it felt like she was like getting out of the picture almost. Like, I think they wanted to have some sort of, reaction to what happened to her brother, shown here.
Yeah.
But to me, it kind of felt like, and we'll get to it, like they were just trying to take her out of the picture because Butcher, who's going through a tough time, he later on is Black Noir comes to kill him because we saw, but Black Noir was looking him up earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, though, Huey and MM come. And he's like at his aunt's house, chilling out, and they know where he's at. But then when Black Noir like tries to kill them all, like they can't do anything against this dude. He's basically like an indestructible Batman,
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, I was kind of like, I feel like they kind of just needed to get Kimiko away from them, because if she would have been there, they could have at least had a fighting chance. That's what like I was kind of thinking.
Yeah, because it really felt like they had no hope.
Yeah, I was just like, how are you going to take this guy out? We saw him in the explosion in the first episode of the season. Just explosion from that guy.
Like singed. He was like singed a little bit, but he was fine.
Singed.
So that's a good point. Because maybe that was for the story. Because if Kimiko was there, you're right, it would have been at least a fight. They could have gotten away easier.
Yeah. I mean, he kicked her butt in the first season.
Yeah.
It would have at least been more of a fight. And she might be
better
better
more
at
of a
this
fight,
point.
and it would have given the guys, again, a chance to get away,
Yeah.
and run. But which is what Butcher was trying to do. Butcher went all hero mode in this episode. So it was kind of weird at the beginning of the episode. He's like looking at dog toys. Huey's like talking to him, and Butcher's not being totally mean. And he says something. What does he say to him? He's like, "You're my
canary."
Yeah,
Huey.
You're my canary," which is so weird. You're like my little canary. Anyway, Butcher goes to his aunt's house, and I love his aunt.
She's
So this is
great.
kind of the first time like we're kind of getting some more backstory on him.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
meet his dog. What's his dog's name? Terror.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And the aunt is like, actually, she seems so sweet and innocent. She like, what was the first line she said? Like they're like looking at the toy and stuff.
Oh, that's his fuck pig. I was watching this interview with Carl Urban and the guy who plays MM, and they were talking, and apparently they brought a dog on who had like auditioned for the part, that they wanted a dog that would hump a toy for this. So they got this dog on, and he used to like hump a goose or something. So then when they were getting ready to do the scene where they're talking, and then the actor who plays Huey, he was thinking that the dog was humping a goose. So he picked up that pig, the fuck pig, and he's holding it and tossing it around. And then he's like, all right, like, let's do the scene. Where's the goose for the dog? And they're like, no goose. He wouldn't hump the goose. We had to get him a pig. And he's like, what pig? And like, that pig, the one you're holding. And he's like, ah!
That's funny.
And that's like what happened with Huey in the thing. That's his fuck pig, honey.
Yeah. Hey, maybe that inspired that part.
That might have.
That's funny. Now I just want to get a bunch of dogs and train them to be actors and bring them to auditions. Yeah, but Terror's a good doggy. Oh, I like him.
Yeah. I love at the end when Butcher gets the Homelander toy, and he's like, here. And he gives it to the dog.
That's awesome. So the aunt's like a little bit like, she's definitely in the Butcher family.
Yeah.
So she's pretty great, and she helps them. They go down to like her basement, and she's got like, is it like a drug setup or something?
Yeah, it was like all sorts of drugs and guns, I think,
so
and stuff.
sketchy in this like chamber.
Yeah,
Like, steal it up and stuff, and
Butcher's just like, she's a dealer. she's just a dealer or something like that. But yeah, like when you first meet her, you're thinking like, oh, this could be like Clark Kent's mom or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the stereotypical good older, maternal figure.
Yeah. So anyway, they get to have Black Noir comes in, and they basically get out of it by Butcher saying he's got like photographs. Gustavo Fring from Vought calls up and tries to figure out if he's bluffing or not, and he doesn't take the chance. He calls Black Noir off. So basically, they get out of that.
What'd you think of that though?
Oh, also they also like called for the gas leak or something in the neighborhood.
Postponed Black Noir coming and trying to kill them.
Yeah, gave him some time
so that they could set up these ineffective bombs upstairs and just blow up the house.
Yeah, because they don't affect Black Noir.
They don't do anything to Black Noir anyway.
So
See, this was the one for me. Like, I can see why people might be saying it was the worst. I didn't think it was terrible, but to me it didn't make as much sense. Like I said, like Kimiko, I feel like they just kind of need her out of the way. I felt like what was the point of trying to blow up Black Noir? It didn't do anything. Maybe they didn't know that though. We don't know. We don't know much about Black Noir ourselves, so maybe they
were doing whatever they could do.
Yeah.
Because
And then to me, like, the whole blackmail thing that Butcher had, to me was just like, come on. Like, no one knows this girl exists. Like if you release these pictures, like, all we have to do is just kill her, get the boy back, like, And then we just create some other made up story like we have for Compound
For
V.
everything else, yeah.
Compound V was supposed to be the end game, the checkmate on them. That did nothing. So like, what would a girl? Like, what? No, he just killed a dude. Like Homelander just killed a dude. Like, what are you gonna say? He has a wife and son? No, we can twist that around easy. So like, to me, I was just like, come on, like,
yeah.
But I think what they wanted to show was Butcher just being depressed from his wife saying no and just sort of getting back on the horse after that, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because he was kind of like ready to sacrifice his life for his friends. He kind of was like acting all heroish and stuff. And then his friends, it was cool because there's kind of been like a rift between him, Mother's Milk, and Huey and stuff. And then like he kind of stays back to fight Black Noir, which he has no hope. And, Mother's Milk and Huey come back and help.
Mm-hmm.
And help fight, even though they know it's like they can't win.
Yeah. But, it kind of felt like the point of that was just getting everyone back to being friends again. Yeah. Essentially. Like you said, the first few episodes, they weren't really on the same page.
Yeah. Butcher was kind of doing his own thing, and the other three had bonded quite a bit, so there was definitely a rift in the group. Another interesting thing in this is this episode is the Deep. He's like got a new girlfriend or wife. Does he marry her?
Yeah, he marries
her in this episode, and she's from the Collective.
Yeah, they just pick him a wife.
So he's like rebranding himself. Like publicly. He's going to like talk shows and stuff, and he's actually talking about like his things he had done in the past. Mm-hmm. And then he does the promotional video, which was pretty funny, I thought.
It was like almost a copy of the Gillette like commercial against like men. Like just doing it was like literally the same thing. He would see like two boys playing roughhousing each other. And he's like, no, stop that.
Yeah, hey, just stop, like super cheesy. Hey, stop that.
He sees like a guy like kind of cornering a girl, and he's like, no means no, or something, and just keeps going, like all pretentious walking. I was like, this is the Gillette ad we saw a few years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then so the Deep, that was kind of his thing in this episode, and then A-Train had a little bit of an interesting. So remember, he's been kicked out of the Seven, and now they're just trying to like write him out of like all their media stuff. Like they're trying to get rid of him in the movies. So the director, because they do all these like movies to sell because they're a corporation.
It's they're filming the Seven, which is basically like the Avengers
or
like
something, or the Justice League or something. Yeah.
If you even read like the synopsis of episode 5, like on Amazon Prime, like it says like 12 years of Vought Studios films have led to this moment, and like just like.
And so and one thing they do is they have like Maeve do this really crazy line where like she saved the world or something, or saved the day, and there's like another female,
it's a real hacker hero. Girl that they're
it was the hacker girl. It was the hacker girl. Yeah, she's like, you're the real hero, And she's like, because I'm gay or something.
Yeah, she's like, because I'm gay too.
Because I'm gay too.
And just a cringy line that like Homelander was like forcing. Like her own image into like
ever since he found out that she is actually gay, and he's just been like shoving it down her throat. And she goes and she's like, why are you gonna keep torturing me forever?
Yeah.
So that was one thing in the movies that they were doing that was like super cringy kind of, like
And then later after that too, then they show, and again it's like an MCU reference when the hacker girl's like, what do we got? No, it was that guy. Is that guy you met?
Oh yeah, the guy I met when I worked at the Baseball Hall of Fame. He was in Star Wars.
Yeah, he was in. I just watched Star Trek Beyond. He's in that too.
He's in Star Trek.
A bunch of things.
Yeah, Greg Grunberg. I met him one time. He came. He's a big baseball fan. When I was working at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, and he came in and mentioned he was in Star Wars. So he's in the sequel trilogy. But yeah, he came in, was in the movie that they're in, the boys that they're making.
The movie 7 that they're filming, and he's like running away, and he's just like, I forget what but like there's some threat, like none of you guys can do this, and then Maeve, she just goes, she's like, we can, and then just all of a sudden, Starlight and Stormfront come up. And it's just like, because girls get it done. and just like posing. Just like Endgame, where they all
like
come out for
Endgame.
no reason together. The girls, they get it done. And then
girls get it done.
And it's Homelander who wrote the scene, I guess, or put it in. And again, Maeve comes over and is like, "Oh my god, like why are you doing this to me?" And he's just, and then who's the girl who replaced Stillwell? I forget her name all the time, but she
the actress's name is Colby.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that's your name.
I know. That's what I said. It's like, that is my name.
Does she know? Do you think? Like she stole your name?
Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't jump to conclusions. She might not know.
But like,
it's still not cool. Yeah, it's still not. I'm not saying it's cool.
Like we should definitely try and get her canceled now.
Oh, yeah.
Did you? I just saw it today too. There was a comment on one of our videos, where someone said like, "Good boys don't wear hats inside" or something like that, referring to you.
That was
like,
a long time ago. It was a while ago. Someone commented that.
I don't know why I just saw it today, but
you saw what I responded to it.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, we'll try and get him publicly rebuked or something like that.
That's what we get canceled for. Other people get canceled for saying racist stuff or whatever. We get canceled for
wearing hats.
Inside.
Anywho, Homelander. He's the one that wrote that scene, and that the girl comes over and he's like, "Don't you just like that scene? You know, or isn't it great? Girls doing it, or girl." Girls doing it or something like that.
Yeah.
She's like, girls get it done. He's like, yeah, girls doing it.
Yeah. I forgot about that. That was hilarious. Oh man. It is so funny. But with A-Train, so A-Train, they basically tell him like, look, just this is your final dialogue. And then you're done, but come on, give a good performance and end strong. And A-Train kind of being the diva he can be and not wanting to leave the 7, not wanting to be done, is like, I'm not doing it. I refuse to do it. I'm not doing it. And the director guy, the one that earlier like had like Stormfront she had all the notes for him about this movie. The actor's phenomenal because he's so good at like putting on a fake face, like when somebody has a problem or like doesn't agree with what he's doing. He's just like, he just keeps smiling with them. Like, oh, that's really above me. You better ask her.
Yeah.
But
get the higher ups. Yeah.
It's just he's so good at being that kind of like fake nice to A-Train when A-Train's like, I'm not doing it.
Then A-Train had like this cheesy line. I can't remember what it was. And like the whole time too, I was looking at like Homelander. We see the back of Homelander. I was like, that looks a little bigger. Like who's that dude? Like,
yeah,
he looks a little bigger. And then eventually it's just some guy wearing like Homelander's top.
It was like his stunt double.
It was like a body doubler or something. Yeah. But
anyway, Stormfront's pretty racist toward A-Train. She's like, it's unfair, but she like was just being so racist to him. And
well, she doesn't say anything. She just like stares at him like angrily or something, but
it's like totally racist. Like,
yeah,
it's obvious they're trying to make her seem
oh yeah, yeah. Well, we know who she is.
Exactly. She called him yellow bastard. She said to the guy. Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, Ashley's her name. The one who took over for Madeline Stillwell.
Oh, okay.
Ashley, and she convinced A-Train to do the monologue, and she said something about Mr. Marathon, like as I think who was his predecessor.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. Like you served longer than Mr. Marathon. Like that's an achievement. I want to see Mr. Marathon. Like what's that guy's superpower?
Yeah, is he fast or can he run really long?
He's fast for a marathon runner.
Yeah. And he can like run a very long marathon.
Yeah.
Like very long one.
Oh man. But yeah, so A-Train gave a really kind of cheesy dialogue.
And then like we said, then Butcher, they confront Black Noir and all that, and it kind of ends on like an upbeat note for the boys, and then all of a sudden we see Stormfront and Homelander together.
Yeah.
And
and Homelander had gone to like her trailer to try to like get help. There was like a scene where like he walked in and didn't say anything, and you could kind of see that he was like accepting that he needs some help.
Yeah.
And it turned into
Dream Mode,
laser eyes. And she's like, he's doing it, and she's like, it hurts. So he stops. He's like, oh, and like her skin's just burning. Like
like it's just like magma.
Yeah, and he's like, no, don't stop. Oh my god!
See, I don't know, but I'm thinking that they showed us that for the sake of that later on. I think they might end up fighting.
Well, here's the thing. Don't forget who Stormfront works for. She was brought in by Vought.
Yeah.
She was brought in by the top people of Vought. They know Homelander is kind of losing it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is,
maybe she's doing it for that reason.
Yeah. I don't know. But then episode 6, once we get into that, it starts out again with them hooking up, which we'll talk about in a sec. But since we were talking about her and Homelander here, big reveal at the end. She ends up telling him that she was Liberty, and you find out she was part of like the Nazis and the head Vought guy who like created Compound V
was a Nazi.
Was a Nazi guy, and she's very racist. She's like that Third Reich sort of superior race mentality is like her mission is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And then she even kind of has like this maternal role with Homelander, which I think kind of seals the deal for him.
For him, yeah, exactly.
Because that's when he was messing with her too, I was just like, all right, here we go. Like, this is probably like one of the first girls that you've had like a consensual relationship who isn't like your mom or anything.
Yeah.
But she kind of is.
Or a doppelganger.
Yeah, or a doppelganger. Oh my god.
So it's interesting too.
Yeah, but then and she says like I've loved you. You're like the only person. It seemed to me she could be acting again, but to me it felt genuine.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, well, it seems like they're like perfect for each other. Like, so why would they fight? So now I don't know what to think, because I was after the end of 5, I was like, they're messing around now, but they're definitely gonna fight. And then halfway through this episode, I was like, definitely sure. I was like, they are definitely gonna fight. Because we had just talked kind of recently about in our last talk on the Social Dilemma about like when we were younger, and when kids were texting, they're like, if you didn't text back within like 3 minutes, the relationship was over and it was free to argue with each other. Like, where were you? What were you doing? Like, why is this happening? And like, that's exactly what happens with Homelander. She's like, no, I have to go do my own thing real quick.
I'll be back in like half an hour, she said.
And he's just like,
and he's like waking, like looking for, it's a couple minutes after half an hour, I'm assuming. But here's the thing though, is he's like, I have a surprise for you in the trailer, when you're ready, thinking it's going to be just like another hookup. No, he like got her flowers.
Yeah.
And
he's like, thanks for a nice day.
Yeah. And like, he was like really worried about where the card should be. It's like adjusting it. Like, oh, that looks better there. He really, really cared. And it was kind of like, oh, Homelander.
I know.
Like, oh, dude.
I kind of felt bad for him.
So I felt bad. Yeah, but he also like really lost it real quick.
Yeah.
Like, well, he did go and like check up on her because she said she was going to Vought Tower, and he like went and she wasn't there. So then I guess he thought she was lying to him and stuff.
And he just burns the whole thing down.
They don't show it though. They just show the aftermath. They show the flowers, and they just show like the whole building just gone. Yeah. Like, it was crazy.
And then he's like giving her the cold shoulder when she comes back and everything. I was like, they are definitely going to fight now. I was like, they are definitely going to fight. But no.
But she's kind of like, she's like, hey, can I explain?
They're perfect for each other.
They are.
They are. I'm for the Stormlander.
Stormlander, yeah.
I'm a Stormlander
Homefront
shipper.
Homefrontler.
I'm a Homefronter. Homefront. is a good movie with Jason Statham. It's a really good movie.
Yeah. Back to episode 5 real quick, because I think we missed
Yeah.
one of the important details is that Starlight went into Stormfront's trailer and she found out her password was Adele.
I love Adele.
I know. Didn't she have a picture of her with Adele or something?
Yeah.
Alex had the picture. She kind of like is looking through and finds out some interesting stuff that's going to lead into what happens in episode 6. But Stormfront kind of catches her. Well, she doesn't catch her looking at the laptop, but she walks in and is like, "What are you doing in my trailer?" So
yeah, and
that becomes kind of important in episode
she puts
6.
on that show that she was there to like confront her about like talking with her mom, which was
that was another interesting
like
thing.
a passive aggressive thing from Stormfront to like say, "Look, I know who your mom is. Like if you mess with me, I'll kill her."
Yeah,
kind of. That's what I picked up on. What the message was.
Yeah, and I think she's just straight up just trying to mess with her too.
Yeah.
Because that's what these people do. They don't just threaten. They also just like want to
just want to mess with you.
Mess with everyone. And then of course she plays it off like she's being like a hero, like, yeah, you guys need to talk about it, like it's funny, dude. Oh man. Let's talk more about episode 6 now. So let's talk about that scene with Homelander and Stormfront. Some guys
very beginning.
Some guy just robbed some place. And he clearly just robbed somebody, and he's like got all the money. He's counting it. Homelander just drops in, and then so does Stormfront.
And you just know the he's doomed. But like, how doomed is he?
What'd they do? Break his hand or something?
Yeah, I think she smacks the gun out of his hand and just breaks his hand.
And they kind of just start talking like, criminals, like they always just get away. What do we do? Just throw them in jail and they get out and do it again or something,
Yeah.
And, is that really justice? Mm-hmm. And she's like, yeah, the guy in the background is like, just take me to hospital. And they just keep talking.
And Homelander just pins him up against the wall as they're talking, like by the face.
Yeah.
With his super strong arm.
And what happens after that, Steve?
Well, you see, when mommies and daddies love each other very much, and they have a criminal, mommy might start rubbing daddy's penis. No, but Stormfront starts to, over the clothes though, pleasure Homelander.
Yeah.
And then so there's Homelander gets a little distracted and just blows up the guy's head. And then they start doing it right next to his
that's like the
body.
I think that's like the kinkiness of it for them.
Yeah, is the violence. Yeah.
Yeah, like that like because they had like the blood in their mouth and they were kissing and like I think that's like
head. Oh my god.
Oh man, it was just like one of those moments like, what am I watching right now? Oh yeah, it's the boys. We had another one of those moments later on. We'll get to.
I love that I love that the show always has these crazy boys moments, and then that's when the title pops up. Like it's just the two of them doing it in an alley after they blew up a dude's head next to the body. The boys.
Yeah. Oh, what was the one for episode 5? It was when Butcher started beating the crap out of a random dude.
Yeah.
At a bar.
Yeah.
Fighting guys.
He didn't like that guy's vibe. He didn't
like his man bun.
He wasn't nodding. He did his man bun, yeah.
And he started beating the crap out of him. It's just like Butcher, just like he's reckless, dude.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was the beginning of. I think that's when they said the boys.
Yeah, like he was getting
5.
kicked on the floor. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like smiling about it though.
Yeah, because that's
he wanted the punishment. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Ugh. Billy Butcher's a really cool character.
I love him.
Anyway, back to 6. So that's kind of how this episode starts.
So the romance is live and well. And then, like you said, Starlight, she found that information from Stormfront's computer. And so then she's going to the boys to try and figure out what Stormfront's up to.
Mm-hmm.
They end up being able to take out her chip.
Yes, which looked really fun.
Yeah, it looked really fun.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Careful there with that incision.
How did they cut through though? And the 50 caliber round that Butcher shot at her, like just like knocked her back.
They said that they were like,
she mentions it
because it's Frenchie knows some tricks.
All right, Frenchie knows tricks. You're right.
He's been through some stuff. Oh, we also kind of get to see some flashbacks too, with Frenchie and Mother's Milk and Billy Butcher, and then so Grace Mallory, who was apparently the founder of the Boys, and in the CIA too. We get some cool flashbacks with him and the Torch guy.
Torch guy.
What's his name?
I don't know what his name, but he was in X-Men though. The actor who plays this guy, he was in X-Men as, I think his name was Bobby Frost was the character's name, but he had frost powers, and he was like the rival to a character in that movie who had the power to, and he had carried around a lighter with him, and he would control fire and blast it out. So it's funny though now that he, who is the rival to him in that franchise of movies, is now playing essentially that character in The Boys. Yeah,
his name's Lamplighter.
That's it, Lamplighter. Yeah, but he's like exactly the same. The guy in X-Men who could control fire always had a lighter with him because he needed to start the fire before he could use it. He wasn't like a firebender. And I was like, that's like the same guy. So I wonder if they were like, they had to have done that on purpose.
And I love when he walks in, they're just like laughing at him. They think his costume looks stupid in the flashback.
Yeah.
But
you look like a marionette.
Yeah. Apparently he was on the 7 at that time, I guess. And they were like using him as a double agent. Like,
yeah.
They're pretty much forcing him to be one, for them.
Blackmailing
him and stuff. And that's when we kind of get this backstory with Frenchie. Because basically what happened was, what Starlight found her Stormfront's computer was like that there's a place, basically like an asylum sort of place with a bunch of soups that are like locked up, and they're like running experiments on them and things like that. And they break in, Mother's Milk, Frenchie, and Kimiko. And they're looking at the surveillance footage, and they see Lamplighter. And then we get the flashback again, and we see that Frenchie has beef with him for something. They all do. Well, all the boys do.
Did we know in season 1 that Lamplighter, he burnt Mallory's children? I think it was, right? Did we know that in season 1? I think we only met Mallory like at the very end of season 1. And I think she might have just in passing said like a soup killed my children or something like that, and that's why I retired. It was very like from what I remember. But so like it took me a while to like kind of pick up on like what is going on here, and then when they said the kids and then Mallory and stuff, so it took me a little bit to piece it all together. But it was kind of cool though to get some backstory on everyone. I really like this episode. For me, I mean, I liked 5. Like I said, though, it kind of dipped, and I was kind of questioning things more. But this one was pretty fun.
Yeah. So I thought it was fun. And basically, like, we get this flashback and see that Frenchie was supposed to be kind of keeping an eye on Lamplighter back in the day. And I guess when that all went down, Frenchie had gotten a call that he was like in a 3-way relationship or something. And that the other guy in that relationship had an overdose. And he was really torn, stay or go. He ends up going to his friend, and he never told anybody, and tries to help him. He ended up dying eventually, I guess. And so we learn a little bit more about Frenchie and his backstory there. But anyway, so they don't like Lamplighter, but they're going to have a little bit of an interaction with him. Coming up.
Yeah, so they're in prison, and they get into the security room, and they kill this security guard, man. Like, security guard didn't deserve to be killed, man. They're like, come on, this guy's dying. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, I definitely have to help someone. And I was like, what? Why did we kill that guy? He wasn't a soup.
I know. Well, he was working for Vought, though.
Yeah, well, yeah. But they see in the security room all the security cameras. And you see Stormfront's there with Lamplighter. And that they're like, but you see all the different sort of soups they have. Of course, you have the ones that like can float and can vomit acid, and then have a giant penis.
I know, they're just thinking of all these superpowers, and that last one is like, oh man, I'm not messing with that. Yeah, the vomiting acid one like goes through his bed.
Yeah, I was like, why was he even vomiting in that bedpan if it's like it just like chewed through it? I was just like, why do you even have that, man? Like, you should know by now. Like, just throw up on the wall or something.
On the wall and leave.
Yeah.
But basically, like, Stormfront shows up,
mm-hmm.
and they're watching on the video surveillance, and Butcher, Starlight, and Huey kind of stayed back outside of the walls, and they were watching from the outside, and yeah, they watch Stormfront come in, and she's all nice to this one prisoner, like, yeah, show me what you got, let's see. And he like makes stuff float, and she's like, okay, nice. And she like gives the nod to this guy who we didn't realize who it was at first. It turns out it's a lamplighter, and he just burns the guy alive.
Yeah, because the guy said like he wasn't going to play along with them anymore. He wanted to go home.
Yeah, he has to go home.
Yeah, so like it's clear that they're like training them, and if they don't listen up, they get to be burned alive.
Mm-hmm. And just experimenting on them too, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
And
well, and the thing is too, we eventually find out that what they're doing is they're injecting grown adults with Compound V and seeing how they react. And they're basically trying to build an army.
Yeah.
Just basically Third Reich stuff, which is what we know Stormfront later on is all about. So it's just, but it was pretty cool to see.
Stakes.
Yeah. So now all of a sudden, like this is why I really like this one is I'm like, now I can definitely see what the end game is. I know that we've got Homelander who's probably going to be taking over the world. He's really going to be pointed in the way though that Stormfront puts him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he's so devoted to her now, and obviously her goal is to take over the world with Soups. That's pretty cool. And two, they kind of bond with Lamplighter because Lamplighter feels guilty about burning those kids alive.
Yeah, he said he didn't mean to. He didn't know.
He thought it was Mallory
who
he was killing.
Yeah, he said
or burning. And then
he helps
hates
them.
himself. Yeah.
And he helps them because there's this one prisoner too. So yeah, he helps them when Stormfront comes back. But there's also this one prisoner who can just blow people's heads up, I think.
She has like the Force, just like all the other Soups this season. And
like, boom.
Just like, well, yeah, that's probably how people should be using the Force, I guess, if they really don't like each other. It's just, but like Disney doesn't want to do that.
But they were just like, we got to stay away from this girl.
Yeah, after she does that, like Mother's Milk is just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like it was easy, and then she just opens all the doors, and all the Soups are running amok.
Just running amok.
And after she did that, though, I was just like, so what was keeping her in her room? You know?
I know.
Because I was like, so if you can tear the doors down, what stops you from tearing down the door to your room? Because she wasn't cuffed or anything when she was in her room. We saw her sitting there calmly.
Must be something.
Yeah, I hope they explain that. And then two, there's another Soup that gets outside with the Force, and he just like does Force explodes.
Force explodes.
Yeah, he does
on Starlight and Butcher and Huey.
Yeah,
and Huey gets like cut up at the abdomen, which leads to an interesting scene where they're like Butcher is like freaking out because this is really kind of showing how much he cares for Huey, and also. Back to episode 5 real quick. Butcher's aunt is like, oh, he looks a lot like Lenny.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, who's Lenny? And then Huey asks the aunt, like, who's Lenny? And she's like, oh, that was his little brother. And I guess he had died and stuff, but like he was the one that could always keep Butcher in check.
He's Canary,
and he always needed it. So it's pretty much saying, Huey is now like replacing Butcher's little brother,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so Butcher's freaking out. It's like, we have got to get him to a hospital. So they're like on the road and they're trying to get like a car, and partially so they can actually charge up Starlight to cauterize the wound.
Yeah.
And Randy from Monk pulls over, and he's so nice. Like, hey, what do you guys?
He's Randy.
Yeah. This was such an Edith moment. from Last Kingdom when she stabbed the Viking guy that was going over to her saying, "Hey, miss, do you need help?" And she just stabbed him in the neck. Because Randy's like so nice to them until he notices things are weird with like Butcher and like they
Butcher's
want his
like,
car.
I'm gonna take your car.
Yeah, he's like, and so he grabs a gun. Like any
He's like, he's like, I'm
like if
in the
someone
middle of
came
nowhere,
up
man.
and told you like, "Yo, I'm gonna steal your car right now," and you had a gun in your glove compartment, like. So he does it. He's just like, guys, like, and he even said to them, like, "Look, can we just stop? I'll drive you to wherever you need to go. I'll take you anywhere, you know."
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't want that. They wanted his car.
Butcher.
And Starlight is like approaching him with a gun and just killed him.
So I told you I was like, why did she kill him? Why didn't she just non-lethal blast him like she did with Huey earlier when they were in the tunnel?
Mm-hmm.
But I think what actually happened was I think she just blasted him, and then he hit his head.
Yeah, probably.
And bled out is what I think happened.
Yeah, but those things are gonna happen, you know.
Yeah, but
like happen every now and then, and she's responsible. She's responsible.
She killed Randy. She killed Randy from Monk.
And Monk's gonna find out. He's gonna know.
Oh, he's gonna solve this case.
He's gonna solve the case. But yeah. Oh, so this is an interesting thing. Is this a really big bonding moment between Butcher and Starlight? Because now she just kind of did a very Butcherish kind of thing. And at the end, when they're talking, they are, Huey's like laying in the hospital bed. It seemed like they really connected there.
Yeah.
And it almost made me start to think, like, are they going to have a thing? Almost. Even though I know Starlight has, like, they've had this on and off thing with Huey this whole time. It was just like, well, they're like, because they also said, like, Starlight says something like, he's too good for either of us. You know? So I was like, whoa, that would be kind of a twist. I don't know if that's going to happen, but like...
Yeah, I mean, I hope she's with Huey. I love Huey and her because Huey's like the best guy ever. And he deserves any happiness. Yeah, because she did kind of friend zone him. She did.
And again, Butcher and Starlight are a lot more similar. We're finding out, you know?
Yeah, it was funny in the car when she's like, stop looking at me with like that approval.
That like approval, like look, yeah.
Yeah, and he's just like looking in the rearview mirror,
like, yeah, like you just killed a guy for this car.
Like that's sweet. That's a good one, lassie. Back in the old Compound V Center, after we figured out the whole backstory with Lamplighter, the boys they set up like a anti-soup bomb, which we've also hear from Frenchie's past, his backstory that he uses like Xanax. So he uses like drugs as a bomb to anti-soup people. So that's their plan, is to use this in there. But then all of a sudden, MM starts getting choked. And at first you're just like, oh, a tentacle? But no. What
was it?
It's this is the boys, people. It's old Big John that we saw.
Have an open mind.
Yeah, after they see it, like they open the door, it's Big John. It's starting to inch back into his pants. And then I'm like, was that? And then Frenchie's like, just have an open mind.
I think he was also talking to the audience there. Have an open mind. That was crazy.
I can't believe we saw that. I can't think of any like mainstream show or movie that I've ever seen.
I feel like they
ever went there.
I feel like in season 1 we saw a lot of shocking stuff, a lot of weird things I never even thought about. You know, like could never even imagine. It's just getting more and more every episode. Like it was from the whale, just sitting inside a whale's stomach, to the laser my tits,
laser my fucking tits,
and to this. It was unbelievable, dude. A-Train's starting to get recruited by the
Collective Church.
The Collective.
Church of the Collective.
Church of the Collective. And first thing that Deep does is he hands him a fresca.
Here's a fresca. He invites him over to the old cult mansion.
Yeah. Oh man.
And I love them just sitting at the table. Like they're gonna have truths, I guess is like the openness.
Yeah.
And then the deep is just like, you do things that make me feel bad and you're mean and
Yeah.
and the A Train's like, what? This is weird, man.
This
I
is
have to
weird.
take this.
I'm out.
And the collective guy is just he's like, you're in debt with a heart condition, like stay.
Yeah.
Like, and poor A Train, man. Like you blow up one girl with your drug addiction.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, things start going downhill.
Yeah.
Like you said, though. And then the other interesting thing too, is that girl who uses the Force to pop people like pimples, she got away at the end. She's like hitchhiking. But also before that, they tried to use Frenchie's, Xanax anti-soup bomb on her. And I don't know if she inhaled it or not, but she ends up just crushing the can, so it can't do anything.
Yeah.
So like, did that drug have no effect on her either?
Mm.
And then Stormfront comes in, shocks her, and you're like, oh, she's dead.
Yeah.
But she's not. She gets away at the end.
She gets away.
And it's just like, and we
Like-
already saw before that she can take bullets and she's fine. So it's like,
She's
is
like-
this chick indestructible? You
Yeah.
know? Is she, I'm thinking like she might be the thing that brings down Vought now.
Yeah. It's like, but she seems a little bit crazy too.
Yeah.
Like
She's
where
a
is
loose
she
cannon.
She's a loose cannon. I don't know if she can be controlled,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she
So
probably kill anyone. I mean, she
That
killed that
gets in her
one
way.
police guard who was just like, hey, stop.
yeah.
Well, he did shoot her, actually.
Yeah. Well,
She, but it didn't do anything to her. She could have
Oh,
just
man.
went like knocked him over with the Force, but she's like, blow up, paint
Yeah,
the
dude.
walls. I don't know. I don't know, man. She's gonna cause some ruckus though.
yeah.
And like we said, we end with Homelander and Stormfront. Her big reveal to him, saying that she's never gonna lie to him again and that she loves him and
Yeah.
that she super old and Liberty and
A Nazi.
yeah. And then she's like, she's basically like, he made me and then we made you, or like his gift made you and stuff. And I'm just like, oh, that's kind of like a mom role she's saying there. And then just like Homelander's just like, all right, and then just more music. I forget what the song was, like Friends, maybe like why can't we be friends, something like that. I don't know. But then we end,
Thanks for being a
Thanks for
friend.
being a friend.
Yeah, I guess that's the Golden Girls theme song,
Oh, okay.
which
okay.
is
Frenchie's
what
favorite show.
Frenchie's favorite show was. I love that these guys they're the boys, but they're also just like
kooky
I don't know.
kooky dudes.
kooky dudes. They like Mother's Milk is like a OCD and
What was he watching too? That when Huey was like, "What are you watching?" He said, "What did he say? Like stuff it up your dick or something."
Oh yeah. No, he didn't tell him. He's just like
He's like, "I'm
Wait,
watching."
it's called Eat My Dick.
It's called Eat My Dick.
That was hilarious.
So yeah, I wonder if he was watching Golden Girls. But yeah, they're all interesting dudes.
just like I don't know, relatable dudes.
But but I guess at the end though too, we see Mallory meets up with old Lamplighter and
Yeah,
was gonna shoot him, but doesn't because Frenchie
it's like,
tells her that he's already in enough torment.
it's more of a torment to keep him alive.
Yeah.
and let him live through it.
Yeah. But he's also just burning people alive, for how many the past many years in this secret prison.
I know.
So like, is it really though?
Yeah, seriously.
Because like he's been burning people alive.
Yeah. Oh man.
He didn't stop after that one time and be like I'm gonna be a good guy. Like he kept burning people alive.
Oh my god.
But at least he feels bad. Oh well with Maeve, we see that her girlfriend
Oh.
finds the GoPro with her and Homelander.
Yeah. And now I had forgotten about this scene from season 1.
Yeah, where
When
they
they're on the plane.
let the plane go down.
Yeah.
And that
And-
that helps Homelander get into the position where Vought will get with their defense organization, with the military. They
Yeah.
can be part of the military.
exactly.
And that's another.
And Maeve tried to save people, and Homelander stopped her.
Yeah.
You know?
That was a great scene.
Yeah.
Apparently, in the comic books, I'm glad that they didn't do this, but apparently in the comic books, what happened is that plane was actually the plane that hit the Twin Towers. That Homelander, like, let go down because, like, he was trying
best not to broadcast that to the general public.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't have that, but apparently that in the comic books is what happened. Apparently, like, Homelander, like, screwed up. From what I was seeing, and like he was like actually trying to save it, but then he just messed up, which is kind of what happened in the show too. That he messed it up, and he decided, well, I can't bring it up; it'll tear it apart. I think.
But I'm glad they didn't make it 9/11.
Yeah, me too.
Because that's hitting too close to home for people.
Yeah. So yeah, her girlfriend sees that. Apparently, Maeve's plan is to show that to Homelander, to get him to either back off or she's going to release it to CNN. And then that will end him, essentially.
Yeah, not if he's going down that road, though, where he doesn't care. We'll see where he goes.
Yeah, he's either not going to care if she does it or not and kill her, or he's going to kill her or something. I don't know. I don't think she's making it out of this season, though.
But it was the Deep, I guess, that brought her that camera.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, he was like, some of my contacts in the Arctic or something, right?
Yeah.
I met this cool guy. Like
a sea turtle.
Like, I know some cool guys up there. And like, that was
funny.
He was like talking like they're people.
Yeah.
I love
this episode is just just an evolution of Butcher and Starlight's relationship, because at the beginning, they take her chip out and she's like, I want to come with you. And Butcher's actually like, yeah. And like, wait, you actually want her to come? And he's like, of course, because then if they come after us, they'll want the $1 million baby here, or the $1 billion baby, and not us. So he's kind of using her in that way. And obviously that bothers her. And then she later says to him something like, you're just like a guy I know with a flag for a cape, which bothers him because that's like his like arch nemesis.
Yeah.
So, but then by the end of it, they kind of realize how similar they actually are.
Yeah, you can see though why he's pretty anti-Soup. First for Homelander.
Oh my God!
Obviously with his wife, and then also too they trusted Lamplighter apparently to help be their double agent.
Yeah,
and who ends up burning Mallory's children, and I think that's what retired her.
It's kind of cool to see them back, like when they were just a team back then.
Yeah,
like all together at the beginning and stuff. And
Butcher's hair was like greased back, which
just looked like just a better overall mood. And there was like a crazy rap song for A-Train too, which I think was part of what like was pushing him out, and maybe why he accepted the Deep's invitation to go to the Church of the Collective. It was a good episode. A lot of stuff happened, and I don't know. I'm excited to how this one ends. 2 more episodes in the season. Could be pretty epic.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Like I said, I was a little in 5. I still enjoyed the episode.
Yeah, I thought it was a good episode.
But 6, I loved 6. It was pretty crazy. Had a bunch of crazy things happening, and now I see that we're heading towards this train wreck of a finale here.
Yeah,
we've got like the superhero Third Reich coming. We've got crazy force wielding girl
out on the loose.
We've got her, yeah. And I don't know. We'll see. We've got another Soup on the boys team. Lamplighter. Yeah.
Lamplighter and Starlight. So yeah, I'm excited to see how it's going to end. I think it's kind of it's a big vibe with the whole like Nazi thing. That's kind of cool. Please stick with us and subscribe and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, all that great stuff. We're going to do the final 2 episodes soon, whether we do one at a time or both together. We're not sure yet, but we'll get those out. Anything else, Steve, before we go?
No, just comment what you thought of those 2 episodes too, and where you maybe you think where the rest of the season's going. If there's any spoilers from the comics, don't tell us.
Yeah. Just
do that, and also, ring the bell and follow us on podcasts. So you get the automatic download and you get notified. But also silent those notifications so they're not buzzing your phone, because we know That's bad for you. You don't want that. You don't want it just ringing you. So
Yeah, unless it's us.
Unless it's us.
Just kidding.
It's us. No. But
Seriously,
being quiet. You'll see it. You can see it later when you go to your own phone, but you don't want it to ring. All right, that's what we've learned, people. So yeah, that's all I've got, man.
All right. Well, otherwise, goodbye.
Bye.